Good morning, friends. Welcome back to another day in Empires and Puzzles, and today brings us a brand new portal. The Tower Summon has returned. In this particular case, they have brought us a couple new things. Last month, they skipped the old Magic Tower Heroes costume, but they have brought it back with a vengeance with Jet. We will get into that in a separate video. I always do them separately. First, I like to start things out with the brand new Magic Carpet Hero. So they are offering us a very enchanting lady by the name of Kesha today. Okay, so let's see what Kesha does. We have ourselves a sorcerer, so you get that chance for mana delaying when they attack you with special skills, so that's fun. A reminder of what we get for the Magic Carpet family bonus, it is going to be the full flight momentum. At the start of each turn, and when taking damage, a hero loses a little bit of flight momentum, but they do start with full flight momentum, I should mention that. But they'll lose a little bit at the start of each turn and when taking damage, and then when casting their special, they will gain flight momentum. And the slower their mana speed is, the more flight momentum they gain when they cast their special. So that's a pretty cool effect as well. What's really nice about this is the fact that they do start the fight with full flight momentum. So what does flight momentum do? Just a reminder of that. It is going to be one of these. Yeah, there we go. Flight momentum. Under the passives, you'll find more information on that. It says, if this character has any amount of flight momentum, they receive up to 35% additional mana generation, up to 25% chance to dodge, and the effects are diminished based off of the amount of flight momentum the character has. So at the start of the fight, they will have full flight momentum for that 35% increased mana generation and 25% chance to dodge. It's what makes them very hard to deal with at the very start of a fight, and that's what also makes them very fun to use. All right. We also get the Transform Buffs passive. So each time this character casts their special skill, all dispellable buffs affecting defense, attack, mana generation on all enemies are then transformed into matching undispellable debuffs. So if they had attack up, now they have attack down. If they had defense up, now they have defense down. If they had increased mana generation, now they have negative mana generation. And those new effects become undispellable. This is kind of what makes the Magic Carpet family really fun to use because this is all done passively. So it's a bonus on top of whatever else they do. All right, they also get the weaker Mega Minions passive. So anytime there are Mega Minions that your opponent have, they come with 75% less HP. So that really helps handle things like the garrison guards, etc. If they're trying to hide behind Mega Minions, she just chops that plan literally into quarters and just chop, 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 and handles it. So, gotta appreciate that. All right, over here in the specials department, we do get Special Boost. This is interesting, and I'll get into why. So, Special Boost is going to give her plus 30% damage for the first 6 turns. However, what I saw when I briefly looked down is that this special, Eternal Ish, I'm not even sure how to pronounce ISHQ. Anyway, regardless, it's operating at slow speed. So the real question is 6 turns enough to get your slow speed special off, or is she going to miss out on her Aether power entirely? It's kind of hard to say. Now on defense, I think it's more likely she would be able to cast this because if you put her in a tank spot, she's likely taking enough tiles that 6 turns is enough to get you to a slow special. But on offense, if you're not given the right tiles, you're really going to be struggling to take advantage of that Aether power. All right, so what else does this special do? It is going to be dealing 485% damage to all enemies, and it also says all allies except the caster will dance the dance of Ishq, okay, for 5 turns. And this dance is going to give plus 44% mana generation and receive damage reduced by 47%. Now there's a little question mark here. It says, affects only mana generated from matching tiles and mana gained on defense at the end of their turn. All existing status effects will be removed when the dance effect is added, and then dance gives immunity to new status effects. New dance effects will replace this one, and dance effects cannot be dispelled. The effect is removed if the caster is defeated. So, for those of you who maybe weren't around for the opera arc within this game, and where dance and ballad effects were used the most, dance effects are a very effective way to protect your party. Now, the negative side of these, of course, is that it's going to clear all buffs off, and you can't put new buffs up while they're dancing. So in other words, you're just not going to be taking advantage of anything other than the 44% increased mana generation and negative 47% damage received. That's still very strong, though. It also gives them protection from not just getting new buffs, but from debuffs as well. So if they're trying to hit you with like dot effects or attack down or defense, all of that, you're also immune to while your characters are dancing. The negative side of these dance effects is, 1, it won't ever affect the caster, so she doesn't get to take advantage of that increased mana generation and reduced damage taken. And 2, if they focus fire down Kesha, the person who cast the dance will end upon her death. So very clearly, the route to handling these dance effects is to stop focusing on the people dancing and focus on the person creating the dance effect. So you're going to want to somehow protect that person. It's just hard to do because when they're dancing, you can't put effects up like taunt or anything like that to help keep them from being targeted. So it's just interesting, to say the very least, how you try to do that. But don't underestimate dance effects. It can be a real game changer. And I've seen people create really strong teams around that concept. So it is kind of fun that they are bringing that back into the game in another character here so that it isn't dying off. It does create some usability for the bards out there that reduce dance effects and ballots to one turn. There are a few bards out there doing that. Here is a new character that they can be used against as well. So that's kind of fun. What is there to say about this? Well, first of all, this character can be plugged and played pretty much anywhere. Like, you can try to create a strategy, but the truth is you're getting a pretty solid hit all at slow speed. And that's going to cast a protective veil over your team with the dance effect, which does increase their mana generation and does reduce their damage taken. A character like this is designed for one thing. It's to create a slowdown or a distraction, right? So let's say you have some very strong heroes, but they tend to be focus fired down as priority targets, right? Well, that's why a character like this can be helpful, because as soon as she goes off, she's going to shift priority, right? She's going to shift priority from trying to kill off these other guys to, we need to kill the person creating the dance effect that's protecting everyone and really buffing their mana. Because if you have strong hitters with her and they're getting an increased 44% mana generation, you're going to really speed up your team's potential damage. And the other side knows this too. They're going to want to stop that as soon as possible. You're going to redirect damage from your perhaps more viable targets to this Kesha dancer girl instead. So really that's what she is. She's a lure, a trap, if you will, to sort of focus fire down upon her instead of the rest of your team. At least that's how I think I would probably use her. I think she obviously, like most slow heroes, will be most effective in rush formats and where she will be activating at fast speed, creating a lot more of a pain in the butt for everyone. Let's just put it that way. So we do have to rate her on a scale of 1 to 10. I don't know, because of the fact that I don't necessarily see her as like a crucial piece for any team. I'm just going to give her an 8. A solid 8 is fine, right? Like, I think she's going to be an effective hero and can probably be plugged into most teams in some way or another. I don't see anyone necessarily trying to make entire teams around this girl. I think she's just a decent utility piece to add to any like setup that will help you probably move towards at least a war hit win or whatever the case may be. But that being said, we have to see her in action. I may be underestimating how powerful this negative 47% damage taken and 44% mana generation is. If she gets off in a defensive tank role, will she make the difference? Or in the defensive tank role, will she be whittled down and just killed when her effect goes off and just end the ballad? I'm not sure yet. A little play testing will be necessary to understand that. Okay, so thank you all for tuning in. If you do like what I do, there's a little button at the bottom right. You can click on that, find me easier in the future. I do appreciate you. And last note, this event from Soul Exchange is up right now for February 2026, where we get to give Empires and Puzzles feedback on what we want for Soul Exchange. I would highly recommend you go to whatever content creators post you like. I've got a few out there as well. And comment on who you'd like to see for your 15 heroes for Soul Exchange. Empires and Puzzles is very specifically combing through the comment section of these videos so that they can compile a list and make an ultimate decision. It looks like we'll be getting a finalized list about a week before Soul Exchange happens. So you have about a 1 week window to get your voting in for it to be in the consideration. So I do appreciate you guys. We'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.